So we just try to figure out where we want the tie outs to be. It's upside down because I can't stack them on the top. They slide off. So I think that'll work. Now we just need to mark approximately on the other side and drill some holes. Okay, so I got all the holes drilled, evenly spaced. A couple of attachments in the back there for if you gotta go downhill for some bigger rings and small ring holes. And what I'm using is a 3/8 inch just regular drill bit, and with the 1/4 inch rope doubled up will fit snugly through those holes, and it's reinforced by the washers. So I'll show you that next. So basically this is how I rig it. I get the one half of the rope coming up through the hole. The sled is sandwiched between the knot or the lark's head and the washer, and then the ring just gets put into that. So when you pull tension on the rope, it's really pulling on the washer and the other rope, and not really on a whole lot of stress on the sled itself. And then you don't have to worry about little sections of rope because it's all one big continuous rope. And you mash it through the 5/16 hole just with the pliers, get it on the other end, pull it through. So we just squish the rope through the washer, pull it through, feed it through the sled. I'm gonna go. There we go. And then take your ring, set it on. Tighten it so they all get tightened, and I mark the center of the 25-foot rope, so I'm kind of working my way around. I'm just keeping everything tight, pressing each knot as I go. Oops. So you just kind of want to keep tension on everything. And you work your way up. front after we've taken care of getting all of the tie outs in. I was going to integrate a cheap carabiner to secure it to the poles and belt, but that didn't look right and there was too much wiggle here. So I went back to my original kind of idea of using the hooks or using these eyelets, and then you just hook in your carabiner there. But in order to keep the play when you're walking out and really wearing out that rope, I added another washer there. So as you can see over here, I've got the washer, a bigger ring, so this is 1.5, I believe, 1 1/4. I think these are 1 1/4. These are 1 1/2. And then I'm securing it to the edge of the end of the rope to keep it in that position there. So then you just click in your carabiner and it won't move around a whole lot. So now it's just a matter of figuring out. I put a little washer there. Got a washer underneath here to support that. So now I got to figure out how to make this look nice. I put a little stopper knot on the end of the tie out, this tie out, and all I did there was just put that underneath like that, and then fed the working end through. Oops. Not that. Just like that. Just to support it. So now I got to work on getting this end through there, come out here, and kind of do the same thing. So we'll see how that works. Okay, so I ended up just making this look uniform across the board here with this, I don't know what I would call it, like a yoke. That's where you're going to hook your poles to, or rope, or whatever you got to pull your pulk. And then underneath I drilled just a simple stop knot, overhand knot here, back down through a hole, another hole that I drilled, and then underneath just a simple knot, and I will cut off these two ends. So just about perfect amount of rope. Got about, what, 2 feet left there. I'll just cut it off up here, burn the ends, make it look nice, and that should do it. So as you can see, through the bottom, it goes all the way through there, and the same thing on the other side, so it's all one piece. And basically you're just pulling here, and it'll put a little bit of tension on here, but these don't move around a whole lot, just the carabiners will when you're pulling. So I don't have a video on how I made the pulls because I made them before I was making videos, but basically they are conduit. You can see that. I think it's, what, 1/2 inch S40. That's what it says here. So what I did is I took an end cap and drilled a hole through the middle of it for this eye bolt, and that eye bolt is embedded down into here with a nut that just fits on the inside. So you heat up the end and the nut, put the cap on, heat it up, put the nut on, and then squish this down into the pole, or into the pole, and then fill it with epoxy, and epoxy everything together. So it's basically epoxy from about here to the end. And then let that cure, and then you find the tool dip at the hardware store. That's for the ends of old tools that you want to coat the handles with. I think it's called Dip It. And all I did was just, obviously this wasn't on there, but I just dipped the whole thing in, hung it up, let that cure and dry, and then did that on all the ends. So there's the ends that go to my existing Pulk, and now this one, but I'll take the other little quick links off of there and use the red carabiners that I bought, or some regular carabiners. And then I keep them together with a little Velcro strap, so when you put them on you cross the poles, and then the other end is the same thing. Just eye bolts, end caps, epoxied in, and dip it. And they held up pretty well last year, and they're really easy to make. These are about whatever length. I think they're 6-footers, maybe 5-footers. 5-footers, whatever they come in at the hardware store. And then as soon as I get out my belt, so here's my belt that I use for the Pulk. Went to Menards, it's a local hardware chain. I just got a inexpensive tool belt. So this belt here is where you'd secure some other pouches and whatnot for tools. But basically it's just a big kind of padded tool belt. It's got lots of adjustments. So that's kind of why I liked it. And then I just took some grommets and put them through the webbing so I could run some cordage through, and just kind of thought about how I wanted it to be. This is where I attached the poles to the Pulk, and I think last year I took these out and put in actual carabiners. These just kind of hold their place now to keep that from getting pulled too tight in through here, so that it continues back down into here and it comes out right in there. So I took a grommet tool and put 3 there, 3 there, 2 in the middle, and then another 3 over here, and just kind of made it work. Just laced some cordage through and kind of thought about where all the tension would be being pulled, so I put a little loop here just because I needed a stopper knot. So that little loop is another kind of backup in case these fail or whatever. And this one has options that you can attach suspenders to it. So there's the back ones and then the front ones. So that's all I did to make the belt. I did melt this because it's kind of a nylon and plastic. I melted a hole big enough to get the grommets through. I think I just used one of the grommets I'd heated up with a torch and just melted it through just to make the holes. It worked pretty well, and the belt works really well and got some good padding on it, and goes on and off nicely. So that's the belt. As you can see, The blue one is the old Pulk that I used last year, and it worked great for equipment and all that I needed it to do. It just was a little small. For the camping trip that I took, we had to haul in water and firewood, so I just had to make a few trips. This time I might not be able to, or we'll probably still make 2 trips because I like to overpack, but I can fit more on the Pulk. It's a little wider, a little bit more stable, and hopefully it'll float a little bit better behind me and my snowshoes. And I have 2 now. Thanks for watching.